host, Peter Vryonis. This is Jay's Digest, but today I will be doing a WBC preview of the final, and I think it's pretty much set in stone about one of our finalists that we will have in in Wednesdays, Tuesdays, winner take all. We're going to have USA. They are crushing Cuba as we speak right now. I believe it's 13-2 in the 7th inning or 8th inning. Someone update me on that if you can. And Japan and Mexico, they will go tomorrow. I'm super excited for that one. Unfortunately, I will not be able to live stream for tomorrow's game, so that's why I wanted to come on here today and just update you guys on what's going on. USA crushing Cuba. I mean, just an all-around great performance. Trey Turner has been dominating this tournament. I would not be surprised if USA wins it and he's the MVP of the entire thing, although I think Shohei Ohtani and a couple of other Japanese players might have something to say about that. But welcome in to each and every one of you that's in here right now. Hopefully you're all doing well on this Sunday night. A bit of a later stream than usual. Tend to not try to get on here at around 10 p.m. Eastern time, but I thought I would. Might not see me tomorrow, but Nick's going to take over, so don't you guys worry about that. But if you guys have any question about the World Baseball Classic, about how it's going, just drop it in the comments section. I'll make sure to answer it to the best of my abilities. Sorry about that, guys. Something popped up there. So I'm just going to look up the scores just to make sure I'm keeping you guys updated in real time. Alright, so it is 13-2. We're in the top of the 8th. Miles Mikolas is pitching really well for the United States. I mean, he's doing what he has to do. He's shutting down this Cuban lineup, and honestly, it's too bad. It's really too bad that Cuba has to be the other semifinalist because there are so many other great teams. And I would say they're not deserving, but they did make it all this way, but they had the easiest route to get to the semifinals. They played Australia in the quarterfinal, and it's just it's too bad that we couldn't see the Dominican Republic square off against the U.S. I think Mexico has a real shot at beating Japan. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Japan's going to go out there and win the entire tournament, and I wouldn't be shocked if they crush the U.S. I mean, they're just such a good team. That pitching staff is on another level, and it all remains to be seen for sure. Who knows? Mexico could upset Japan also. Mexico can beat USA. They have the pitching and hitting. Mexico already beat USA in the WBC. They did, but I mean, I don't know. I think Japan's the best team in the tournament. I really do, and I've been vocal about that all the way through. Their pitching staff is just so much deeper than any other team in the tournament, and Mexico has a really deep staff as well. So we'll keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Another note that I do want to mention to you guys is that tomorrow it'll be Patrick Sandoval against Roki Sasaki, and I am super excited for that matchup. Obviously, Patrick Sandoval, teammate of Shohei Ohtani, in the Los Angeles Angels organization. Japan don't have Shohei on the hill for the next 2 games. Yes, but they do have Roki Sasaki, and if you're not familiar with him, he throws 102 miles an hour. He topped out at 105 miles an hour in the NPB. He's only 21 years old. He's going to get posted in a couple of years, and he's going to shatter whatever record for any Japanese-born player, money-wise, that is. He's going to get more than Yu Darvish. He's probably going to get more than Shohei Ohtani, looking at the way the market is going right now. That guy's absolutely filthy. He only pitched against Czech Republic, so that's all we have to base it on. But, man, this guy is just so good. His fastball is electric, and that's not even his best pitch. He throws 102 miles an hour consistently, and that's not his best pitch. His best pitch is that wipeout splitter that he has. Gets so many swings and misses. I believe he had 8 strikeouts against Czech Republic, and most of them, I think 7 out of the 8 were off his splitter. So absolutely filthy. Japan don't have Shohei on the hill. I mean, Shohei is a candidate to close a game as well, and that could be Not in the semifinal, but in the final, if they do come up against USA, I believe there is a chance that he closes in the ninth inning if they do get to that situation. So I wouldn't rule that out, but yes, starting wise, he is ruled out. I don't know why they started him against who did they play against Italy. I don't know why they started him against Italy, but it's all right. Their pitching staff is just so deep, and their offense too is really deep. They did play in weak pools. They played against weak teams, and Mexico is going to be their first real test that they're facing. Korea was a test for them as well, but Mexico is going to be a different beast when it comes to World Baseball Classic competition. How you guys doing, Alan, Matt, Rashid? You guys are always in our pregame live streams. I appreciate you guys and your continued support. Matthew Moore as well. I recognize all of you guys. You're always there to be found. So thanks for your continued support. Man, I'm excited. Patrick Sandoval, Roki Sasaki tomorrow should be a great pitching matchup. Now, Japan's got so many left-handed hitters, and Patrick Sandoval could give them fits. He throws pretty hard from the left-hand side. He's got some good breaking stuff. It's going to be a tough test for Japan. It's not a cakewalk for them to go up against the U.S. in the final. That's for sure. Who are you guys most excited to see in tomorrow's matchup? Because obviously this one was a bit of a dud, the Cuba versus U.S. one. I wasn't expecting much from Cuba, honestly. I think they were one of the weakest teams in playoff play. I honestly think Australia was a better team, if I'm being honest with you guys. Just competition-wise. Yeah, Cuba did not belong in this stage. It's just too bad that we had to see them and we couldn't see another team like, I don't know, Netherlands probably would have been better. Korea would have been a better test. Cuba is just extremely weak. Freedom for Luis Robles. Jose Daniel, political prisoners. Yes, that's one thing I did want to mention about Cuba. They have so many great players. And it's too bad that most of them choose not to represent the country just because of all the political stuff that's going on. And Randy Arozarena is a prime example of that. He's one of the best Cuban players in all of baseball, and he represents Mexico. And in fact, to add on to that, he said he wants to beat the Cuban national team. He wanted to beat them. He wanted Cuba to beat the U.S. so he could face the Cuban national team and absolutely wipe the floor with them. That's the state of that. So it's just too bad that they don't get their best players to represent them on the world stage just because of what's happening politically. I was expecting Schwarber to do what Trey did. Trey Turner has been unbelievable in this entire tournament. And Matt S. over here saying a Rosarena versus Sasaki. That's going to be a matchup for the ages. Randy in big-time moments is just a different beast. I would love to have this guy in the Blue Jays come playoff time, and he's just such a great player, especially when the lights are the brightest. Yeah, they were pitching around Schwarber, which kind of shocked me because there was a lefty on the mound to start the game for Cuba. Trey Turner is just, man, this guy's going to win MVP for the tournament. I think he's outperforming everyone. He should have been on the thumbnail. That's definitely my bad over there. Tomorrow is going to be an unbelievable game. I do have basketball until around 8 o'clock Eastern time, so then I'll be able to catch probably the second half of the game, and we'll see from there. Hey, Peter, what are your thoughts on the Jays starting pitching depth after the rotation? I really want to get your thoughts on a guy like Chris Archer. I know it's okay. You could ask me any kinds of questions. I mean, there's not too many people in here, so it doesn't have to be fully World Baseball Classic focused. I don't love the Jays' depth in the starting rotation. I feel like one injury and, they're going to be in a real tough spot. And a lot of their success also depends on how Jose Barrios bounces back. If he's a bounce-back candidate, and I think he is, but I don't expect him to be the same pitcher he was in Minnesota in 2023. So it's going to be interesting to monitor that all season long. It also depends on Yusei Kikuchi, because right now I have faith in 3 starters. Honestly, I have faith in 2 of the starters for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's Alek Manoah and Kevin Gausman, and the other three are kind of wild cards. Chris Bassett really slowed down in the second half last year with the New York Mets. And then you have Jose Barrios, who has not looked good at all. And he had a couple of decent outings in the spring, but he's yet to face a loaded lineup. And the first thing that he does when he does face a loaded lineup, can't even get out of the second inning. So that's a little bit alarming for that. And Yusei Kikuchi, obviously the control is still an issue. He's been struggling with it even in the spring. His stuff has just been good enough to get outs against these lower level hitters. Yes, Chris Archer would be a decent depth addition, but maybe he doesn't want to be a sixth starter. He doesn't want to be, a fringe 40-man guy. So I think that's probably why it's a long shot for them to get Chris Archer, although it would be probably a lot more solid than Zach Thompson, if I'm being honest with you guys. Limousine, I appreciate you being in here as well, asking all the questions. Each and every one of you that are in here right now, all of you are diehards. So I appreciate that. We could count on you to be there for each and every stream, no matter what time it is. And I love that. I'm going to stay live for a couple more minutes. I was just hoping to get you guys updated on everything World Baseball Classic. And we'll go from there. Nick just texted me right now. I'm going to answer him. You guys been watching any March Madness lately? I've been locked into that too. Archer can provide leadership, and he's a very serious ball player like KK and Varsho. Yeah, Chris Archer's solid, man. He's solid. I've always liked him as a pitcher. He always dominated the Blue Jays every time they went out there and played. And yeah, he is a veteran guy, 34 years old. A little bit hard to believe. I mean, this guy was in his prime just carving up the Blue Jays. That seems like it wasn't too long ago, but man, time flies. Time flies for sure. It would be definitely be a good depth pickup for sure. Oh man, this World Baseball Classic has been insane. Definitely up there with some of the best. Archer is a no BS type of guy. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone that comes from the Rays organization takes nothing. Takes no BS. I can guarantee you that. Kevin Kiermaier is the same way. His impact's going to be huge on this team. Saw some of the Pitt versus Iowa. That was a basketball game. Yeah. Unfortunately, Fairleigh Dickinson University, the 16 seed that upset Purdue in the first round, I think they're bowing out right now. They unfortunately lost, I believe, to Eastern Atlantic or Florida Atlantic, something like that. I still think USA is going to win it all. Team is too powerful. It's very possible, but the pitching is just not great. They got to hit like they've been hitting, and they've been hitting like absolute monsters. That lineup just gives you no breaks. 1 through 9, they are just so loaded. So I can definitely see them beating either Mexico or Japan if they were to face off in the finals. But right now, as it stands, I'm going to give the slight edge to Japan just because of the pitching, and everyone in that staff just throws so hard. Limousine here with a question. How is Mike Trout doing? He's been struggling a little bit. The average is still pretty solid. Can't really say too much about Mike Trout just because, he's still going to contribute whether he's hitting or not. Just his presence in that lineup is massive for Team USA. But, man, he's been striking out quite a bit. He went 1 for 5 today. His average is still 318 in the World Baseball Classic, but a lot of swing and miss. A lot of swing and miss for Mike Trout. I can't remember how many times exactly he struck out in the tournament, but quite a bit. Cedric Mullins hit a home run, pinch running for him. Sorry. Goldschmidt was great today. It's honestly the pitching for the U.S. It just scares me when it comes to picking a winner. Look at what they did to Team Canada, Puerto Rico, and now Cuba. Yeah, those teams don't have the same lineup that Mexico or Japan are boasting. I mean, they lost to Mexico, and Japan has a better hitting lineup They have a better hitting lineup than Mexico. So it's going to be a test either way for this pitching staff. And I don't think they used their best pitcher. I expect Brady Singer to probably start the final, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably who I would go with. I'd probably go with Brady Singer. That makes the most sense. It is an all-star lineup. It's unbelievable. But, man, their pitching is just not good enough. They haven't played great teams yet. And when they did, they lost. Venezuela is a great team, though. I'll give you that. Venezuela is a great team. But that's the kind of game that they're going to have to win if they face off against a great team. They're going to have to win by hitting like that. Devin Williams is a great arm that they have. David Bednar, Ryan Presley. So their bullpen is pretty good. It's just, are they able to get to that bullpen in decent enough shape? And that's the big question, especially against a lineup like Mexico or Japan. Team Canada could have done better if they had more guys playing. Lots didn't play, and some of the players were injured. Yeah, I agree with that, but they were dealt a tough hand with Mexico and with USA in their group as well. What are your thoughts on one more depth starter such as Michael Pineda? Always been a fan of Michael Pineda. I think he's a solid depth guy. I'm not sure how he did last year. Was he with Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, or am I wrong in saying that? Yeah, any added depth, anyone that's comfortable with being, a fringe guy, I'm good with that. So I'm going to stay live for a couple more minutes, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you that are in here right now. I'll just answer this last question here from Alan. If Team Canada had Pivetta, Soroka, Vladdy, LeBlanc, Paxton, Tyone, Votto, Romano, Josh Naylor. Yeah, but we could say that about pretty much every team in the Classic. If USA had Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, then they would be a much better team. So it's tough. It's tough to say that because every team is in the same boat. A lot of players skip out on the World Baseball Classic just because the timing sucks. It's right before the season. A lot of guys just got paid big money and they don't want to risk any injury. I really want the Jays to get Chris Archer. That'd be cool. I'd welcome it. I think he would take over maybe as the fifth starter if someone struggles in that rotation. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now. I want to thank each and every one of you that are in here. And hopefully we see you tomorrow in the pregame live stream. I might not be able to make it. I do have some schoolwork to take care of. But Nick's got you guys covered. And we want to thank you all for the continued support. It's just been unbelievable. U.S. is so good with Trey in there. Exactly. Their lineup is loaded. That lineup is probably the best lineup ever assembled on a baseball field. But you have a 41-year-old Adam Wainwright starting games. He's okay. He's not what he used to be, but he doesn't even touch 90 miles an hour anymore. Then you have Miles Michaelis, who's also very average in the major leagues. So that's the kind of depth that they have in that starting rotation. I don't necessarily trust it against a team like Japan or Mexico. But thanks to each and every one of you that have been in here. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, I'm sure Nick's going to take good care of all of you. And I'll see you when I see you. Have a good night, everybody.